What is up, folks? Welcome back to another live stream repair. There we go. Yes, welcome back. We have got a few things to fix today. First, but certainly not least, we've got Mr. Mike's LG Ultrafine mainboard. Goodness, I feel awful. I keep forgetting to grab this one off the pile of stuff to work on here. But here it is. And I think there's a chance. I think it has a chance. So let's let Mike know. We're gonna try to fix this up here first for him. There we go. Alright, we've let Mike know. Let's get their name up on the screen. So after Mike's ultrafine monitor with its USB-C port, we've got some maintenance to do. 3664 was a HomePod that got bricked, and it was successful with the software restore yesterday. It's been testing okay. Same with 3671. They've been testing fine, so it's time to do some hardware maintenance for them. And then we're going to look at 3649. That's Harrison. Harrison has no power on their first gen HomePod. Then we've got the Days Studio. We'll put Days down for now to keep it short. And then let's see, we've got James with some bad bass. And yes, we have another second gen HomePod in today with no power. That's going to be Neville's HomePod. We'll take a look at that one last up today. So let's let 3664 know that we are going to be wrapping up theirs very soon. Excuse me. All right. So, looks like they lost their fan connector while trying to get their port off. So that shouldn't be too difficult to get back on there. And hey, on the bright side, now we don't have to cover up that plastic fan connector to put a new port on. They kind of made this potentially a little easier for us. We will see though, because if we get up close, we do have kind of a situation here. So it does look like at the very least, we do have all of our traces. None of them look broken. These little black rectangles here, they are just ESD filters. If you lose a few, it's not going to be the end of the world. But all of the pads seem there. Nothing seems broken. So yeah, you see up here we're missing a couple of those ESD filters. I think I have some somewhere, but I typically end up just not bothering replacing them. So here we go. Let's get some flux on here. Oh yes, and if you want to join my Discord, you are welcome to hit up discord.gg/nixfix, and where is that? Let's copy this. You can join the voice chat with us and say all your mean, rude comments right to my face. Okay, I'm gonna get some fresh solder down. This is not gonna be... There we go. I guess I could... Get out of my way. Thank you. This board is sucking up a lot of the heat off my iron, so I'm going to heat it up from the backside while I retin these pads from this side. There we go. That's working much better. Awesome. We got all the pads tinned. So here's my replacement USB port. Let's go ahead and get that prepared really quick. A little bit of flux. Good day, hello, welcome to the chat. Stefan. All right. Our port is tinned. It's got fresh solder. Looks like all of this could use a little cleaning though. Goodbye, Stefan. Alright, get a good look at that. I don't see any problems. Everything's got some solder on it. Ready to try this out. I gotta move it over here so I can heat this up from underneath. There we go. Boy, that board smells, it smells a little toasty. But it ain't me. Alright, we're gonna reflow it now that we've got it relatively positioned on the board here. Oh, balls. Back on you go. There we go. It's strange. It's like the port doesn't want to sit flat on the board. I wonder if they warped it from however they got it off. Mikey, welcome, welcome.
Hey, I heard you just mention that the port doesn't want to sit flat, and when I took the monitor apart, it was a refurbished unit, and the port was not flat when I attempted to take it apart the first time.
Okay. I think it's more just a skill issue, to be honest. I think I'm just not doing very good yet.
But just mentioning that the port doesn't want to sit flat, and when
We're almost there. I think it's getting close. We just gotta hit it one more time here. It's tricky to get these perfectly flat with the board. Gosh. We did it. That is level that way. It is level that way. We'll give this a chance to cool off here. We do not need to replace this fan connector to at least see if it's working now. All right. I wish I knew where my ultrafine tweezers went. Feels nice and solid on the board. My pins aren't moving. That looks good. Let's give it a quick little clean. Where is my flat panel display monitor? Where is my super suit? I need power cable. I guess I'll sacrifice it from this one. Nah, biggie. Alright, so first things first, let's see if it passes diagnostics mode. Make sure they didn't kill the board. Getting it to us, and it do be on. I don't think I see my backlight working, but this is a broken LCD panel, so it suits the purpose of testing these board repairs fine. It's just not a usable monitor otherwise. But it lets us know if the board shows us a picture when we connect something or not, at least. Okay, so it is turning on. It is enabling diagnostics mode. I don't have a backlight. I don't know if that's the problem with the board or a problem with my test monitor. It's probably my test monitor. Where is... I should have... my Thunderbolt cable. Where did my Thunderbolt cable go? Alright. I found one. Let's see. Displays. I do not think. I haven't seen a single connection to this monitor yet. Oh, there it goes. Okay. I think we need to reflow it one last time here. It's close. It's very close. FaceTime audio. I'll have to figure something out for that. I think maybe I could like screen share one of my Macs joined in the FaceTime call. I'm gonna give it one last try here, and then we're gonna move on to some other fixes for today, and we'll try this on another day soon. If you want to create a FaceTime link and share it, we can try that. You are more than welcome to try that. I'll hop in and see if it works. Excuse me. Alright, this is for all or something. Nothing. Let me make sure it's not my cable. Sometimes this cable wants me to flip it all around, upside down. Oh? Oh? There you go. We've got our LG Ultrafine connected. I knew it. I knew my cable's janky. And I can wiggle that. It stays connected. Incredible. Persistence is key. It's fixed. Let's give the legs of the port some extra solder, just to keep it as secure to the board as we possibly can. Short of redesigning a new board or coming up with some modification for these. It's bound to happen again. So we can try to reinforce that a little bit. But LG just well, I have a feeling they knew what they were doing because they've been designing them like this for years and years and years. Across many generations, and they continue to give you a single input port that's perpendicularly mounted to the main board. They could have put it on a daughter board, they could have put it on a flexible connection, they could have done a million different other things, but they did this in particular. It continues to fail, and they continue to use the same design in so many of their monitors. Of course, I only have the ultrafine 5K and the ultrafine 4K models on me, so those are the only ones I can confidently offer repairs on. I can't test. I can't test something. I'm not gonna offer repairs for these if I can't at least confirm that the port's good and I'm not getting a loose connection anymore. You saw how many times it took us to reflow that on there to get it working. Alright, it's ugly, but it's gonna work. Arguably better than it did from the factory. Let's get the fan connector back on there. We'll make sure that still plugs in. Yeah, again, it's ugly, but it'll work. Okay, I think it'll be easiest to solder the legs on first, and then we can get the main ground points. Crisp. I wonder what kind of flux they used. But there we go. That is not going anywhere. All of our pins are attached. I mean, sans a little bit of cleanup, that is ready to go back to Mike. Alright, how long did that take us? 48 minutes? Terrible. Awful. Awful, awful, awful. Oh, but those are fun though. I like a nice and easy, just simple little USB-C port replacement. Okay, let's move on. We are going to take a look at 3664. The next few HomePods are going to be a little boring. We already did the software fixes to them yesterday. We're going to do the hardware maintenance to them now. That's going to be 3664. Here we are. And then it's going to be 3671. Let's let them know they're coming up soon. Oh, you guys did the FaceTime link. Hold on. I'm joining. Let me in. Let me in. Let me in. It says waiting to let me in. Let me in! Oh, thank you. Can I turn my camera on?
Is that Nick?
Hello?
That's an odd name.
I can't turn my camera on. There's no cameras. That's not fun. Alright. Well, let's move on here. We've got 3664. Up next is going to be 3671. Let's let them know.
The delay between when I'm talking and when he's actually like, I don't know. The delay's crazy. That's what I was trying to say. I lost my train of thought.
Why can't we do cameras? Is that a permission thing? Is that because I'm on a desktop, a Windows desktop? Alright, so what does maintenance for these things mean? That means, very simply, we'll just take it apart. We'll sniff around, see if anything stinks. We will give it some new DC filters, since they are ceramic capacitors, and all ceramic caps age over time and lose their effectiveness. It leads to death farts and all sorts of base issues. We're also gonna see if it has one of the batches of diodes that fail and cause no power. Get that replaced. And then we'll wrap it up with a solid rubber subwoofer gasket to replace the old foam that
How you doing today, Nick? Hope you're doing good.
fall apart over time. Hello? Can you hear me? I don't think you can hear me. Yeah, I don't think it's working. I don't know why my microphone doesn't work in the FaceTime call. That's lame.
I'm just making a guess, but it's probably because your camera and microphone are already in use by like OBS or whatever you're using to stream.
I don't think so, because OBS doesn't have a problem using my microphone while Discord is using my microphone. I'm not joining from my MacBook. The point of joining on my desktop was so I could stream it, and people that didn't want to join the FaceTime could at least watch it on the stream. I need to replace my streaming desktop with a Mac Mini already, or a Mac Studio. I don't want to spend the money on one. They're expensive still.
You should get a $6 2012 Mac Mini. That might work better than your Windows laptop. I don't know.
I doubt that, though. I mean, for FaceTime, it'll probably work better. The M4 Mini is nice, but it doesn't have enough I/O for me, and I'm not adapting or docking and dongling to make it happen on a Mini. I refuse.
As an Apple user, you're supposed to enjoy the dongles, Nick. You're not supposed to joke about them.
Yeah, that's a very fair point. Alright, what stinks in here? Let's see. A 26K dated diode. That's good, it won't cause
To be
no power.
completely clear, I hate dongles too. I'm just making fun of them.
10 ohm resistors looking good. Alright. Alright.
It's too. I'm just making fun.
That's me too. Let me in. Let me in again. Let me in. I said let me in! There we go. FaceTime gets a whole new angle. Is that gonna more camera? Huh.
One of them is Stefan, one of them is me.
Okay. This ain't no face reveal. OG's got the real face reveal.
Yeah, not just like at the top of your head, like looking like over the camera. I just picked up the camcorder and the one screw holding the door in fell off. So I'm gonna have to go looking through the carpet to find that. That's gonna be a fun thing. I'm just guessing, but it's probably just a bad belt or like a weak motor. I'm not really sure though. I don't know nearly enough about analog recording stuff.
Oh, I need to bring this closer. This isn't lining up. Okay. Back together we go. Oh, the iMac up there? That's funny. That has already fallen once. Yeah.
Did it happen on a stream?
No, it actually happened long before HomePods were a thing.
So why do you just have an iMac sitting on a shelf?
Well, it's plugged in. I normally have my security cameras up on it, but when I'm sitting at my desk, I've got another monitor for my cameras, so I don't have to like tilt my neck up like that to see them. 90% of the time I've got my cameras up on them, but my power keeps going in and out, and I can't be asked to turn it back on every time.
Like, I get the having the security cameras up all the time, but like, what specifically are you watching for on them?
Nothing in particular. It's a few things. I mean, for one, it's kind of nice to have a kind of sense of what's going on around you outside. Like, it feels more or less like I've got a whole extra set of eyes all around the outside of my house. So whenever there's noises or loud whatever's going on outside, I can just glance at the cameras and see what it is instead of worrying about or not, or just, you know, wondering what it is. Also, I can see when people are pulling up to my house before they get here, so I can, if they're swinging by to pick something up, or I can be ready for them when they pull up. Or if it's a solicitor, I know I can get my shotgun ready.
We both had that exact same thought when you said solicitor. I was like, oh, he's gonna go get the gun. Like, and then he said that. I was like, oh, great minds think alike, I guess. Like, we even had a no soliciting sign on our house, and they still show up to our house. It's like, you guys don't know how to read or what?
Oh, dude, if it wasn't like a crime and stuff, I'd be doing it. I'd be answering the door naked. I'd be doing all sorts of obscene stuff to you if you were bothering me when I said don't. I'm wild.
I don't even have a response to that.
I'll just open the door. Yeah. What do you want? And I'll just try to waste as much of their time as possible. Like, I'm clearly not interested, but I'm just saying the right things that make you have to keep going until you just give up and leave.
So, this was a couple of years ago. It was during COVID. That's why I remember it. There was a solicitor. He was for, I can't remember what security company it was, but he had like a little demo doorbell thing. He was like, yeah, this is what the doorbell looks like. It's got the camera on it and whatever. He just left it at our house, and I'm pretty sure it's still in our garage somewhere.
Huh. Is it tracking? It's a spy device. They're spying on you.
I think I took it apart at one point. There's like just nothing on the board. It's just a dummy unit.
Ah. Oh, room tour? No, you guys don't want a room tour. I'll show you guys why you don't want a room tour right now. That's that desk. That's the floor. That's the other half of the room. There's literally no room for anything right now. I'm tripping over HomePods and HomePod parts. I gotta clean.
Complete your spawn point, Nick.
I feel like the Asmongold of like YouTube electronics repair channels right now. I hate it. At least I don't have like cockroaches and dead animals living around here.
How do you know they're just not under that pile of HomePods?
Well, because everything gets moved. I'm regularly moving like 90% of what you just saw. So much moves through my house on a weekly basis. I can clean one day, and within the same day, it's in the same state of disaster again. I gotta buy thousands of dollars in furniture to organize things better, I guess. Or I could spend thousands of dollars
The door to open.
in wood.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I got the door to open though. I just kind of worked it and it kind of just popped out.
Sounds like maybe probably like a spring or a like a clip or something that moves it open and closed is like popping out of place.
That was the first time I've actually gotten it to open though. What are the chances it just opens all the way this time?
What can I say? My presence just tends to fix things.
Yes, I agree, Nick. You're my lucky charm. Just working. Gotta buy keys now. Don't have any.
Alright. We'll make sure we didn't break anything. We'll grab the next one up here for maintenance, and then it's on to some actual repairs here. We've got Harrison coming up soon with no power. Alright. Another one. Here we go.
It's not closing. Like it'll go down and it'll just open itself back up. Which I love VHS so much.
Just try a bunch more times. Just keep trying until it works.
So this is going to be a very convenient camera to use for something. I don't even know.
What do you expect? It's like twice your age, isn't it?
I believe it's from the 90s, yes.
It's kind of weird, like that particular model seems to be somewhat collectible. Like people don't want to. People are asking at least like $200 for them on eBay.
I can see why. It's got like you can add text to your videos and stuff, like on-screen text and stuff. As far as I can tell, I could be completely wrong about that, but yeah, Yeah, it definitely is not a cheap camera.
All right. That's it. It's got a 42K dated diode. Nothing else stinks. Nothing else to worry about in here. Let's get back together. How do you transfer the FaceTime to your phone? I just joined it on my phone. I opened the link on my phone. I didn't transfer nothing. You just have to rejoin.
Quite a bit of stuff when I bought it. It came with the whole manual, which is probably an inch thick, a bunch of like video cables and stuff. It came with 4 batteries, which I guess makes sense because I guess these used a lot of batteries, and the wall charger. I don't know if any of the batteries actually work. I haven't tried them yet. I've just been like plugging it into the wall, but it came with the charger too, so that's cool.
I'd be surprised.
No tape,
No tape. Damn.
Even an official Sony battery, which I'm guessing is the one that came with the camera. Some of these solid decks, I've never heard of that. There's a little button on them. One of them actually, there was a light on it when you push the button. I'm not sure. It came with this, which I guess these people took this camera to Europe and needed to charge it. I'm not sure. Maybe that came with a camera, actually. I don't know. But yeah, that's kind of funny. I don't need one of these, and hopefully I never will, but, you know.
Or if you're traveling. Just for traveling.
Yeah. I mean, I could never afford to go to Europe, but... That's Stefan? Is he back?
It appears so. FaceTime has stopped responding.
Mac OS moment.
I can still, I mean, I guess clearly you can hear me and I can hear you, but I've got a giant pop-up on my phone that says that FaceTime stopped working.
Are you on an Android?
I'm on my iPhone.
I've never seen that on an iPhone. That's interesting.
Oh, you know what's funny? I just realized it opened the FaceTime call in Chrome.
Oh.
That's incredible.
It gave me the option to open it in FaceTime.
Nah, I just straight up opened it in Chrome. Gotta
Holy
love it.
shit, Stefan.
Hold on, let me rejoin, I guess. I have to fix that. Open with... Why can't I open this with FaceTime? The site is trying to open an application. Open in FaceTime, yeah. Okay.
It is Nick. Hello.
It let me open in FaceTime now. Look at all the Nick's fixing this.
One of the batteries that came with it is an ancient Duracell.
Ooh.
And it's actually, from what I can tell, for both 8mm and VHS-C cameras. So that's kind of interesting. If I ever get a VHS-C camera and this battery somehow works. I kind of doubt any of these work. This one had a light on it, and it's very faintly lighting up, so I'm going to put that one on the charger. But yeah, this is a beefy battery. What's weird to me is the official Sony one that I'm doing with this, I can do this one-handed, is tiny compared to these. Like, it's...
No, that makes sense. That makes sense. The owner probably bought the camera. It came with the original Sony battery. And they probably travel, so they bought the travel adapter and extra batteries. And of course, the aftermarket batteries are going to be physically larger. I mean, if you're going to spend the money on one and you've got the option for a larger capacity, why not, right? And if you're going to carry multiple batteries, I imagine these guys were... Seems like they were really using it.
Mm-hmm. But you'd also think that Sony would, for a camera of this, like, I don't know what you would say, of this caliber, you'd think they'd put a really big battery on it to begin with.
Well, that would cost more. And I wonder, I mean, I imagine they probably took their best guess at weight and cost and size and accounted for what the average person that would buy it would probably want or need.
Yeah, but also thinking Sony, like, you'd think that they've had, like, you know, smaller cameras that, like, maybe people who don't want to spend as much money would come with this size battery, but then they'd have this one, which seems like a really more high-end camera would come with a bigger one by default.
I don't know if that's we don't know if it's a higher end one or if it's just a mid-range model, or it could very well be the budget option for the time.
Yeah, that's true. I'm gonna look up what year this is from, because, like, somewhere, I think it was in the manual said 94, but
That's probably just the copyright date for the manual.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, just literally just Google the model number of the camera, release date, and it'll probably pop right up.
89.
Yeah.
Oh, it's older than I thought.
Yeah, there we go. You don't get much smaller than what you have there either. If it's it's a full VHS like camcorder, you can't really get much physically smaller.
It's a video 8, not a full size.
Oh,
VHS.
okay. Well, still,
Yeah.
still, like it's you only do so much, especially in '89. Jeez.
Yeah, for 89, this is a tiny camera.
With everything it's got packed in there.
Yeah.
If it can actually do video, like if it can superimpose and do some like light video effects, that's really cool.
Looking at the original price, what did this cost?
Probably a couple grand. All right, who's next? We've got the Days Studio. Let's let them know they're coming up here. That's gonna be that phone number. All right.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find an original price for this.
What's the model number?
It's the Sony CCD-F70. It just comes up with like eBay listings and stuff.
Yeah. Might be a question for ChatGPT there.
I was thinking that already. It makes sense. Around $1,000 and $1,500. Interesting.
Yeah, so that puts it at about high-end entry-level, low-end mid-range camcorders for the day and age.
Yeah.
Because you've got other ones that were still like considered personal use. They were personal camcorders, but that you'd spend easily $5,000 to $8,000 on one.
Yeah.
And
it's the bottom of GPT's response. If you're interested in buying one, it's advisable to check the functionality of the device.
Sure. Okay. Thank you for assisting with the thought process, ChatGPT. I needed it.
I mean, I should have thought of that. There's a spot to plug stuff in that thrift store. I just didn't even think of that.
Oh, it depends on, what it is and what like there's all sorts of stuff at Goodwill, like just because it doesn't work, I'm not going to buy it. If anything, I want to buy it more because it doesn't work, and that's probably why it's so cheap.
Would that stop me from buying it? Probably not.
It depends on what it is.
If it's a Video 8 or a VHS-C camera, but my grandma has. It's from the 1000, the Panasonic camcorder that I played with once when I was at her house.
It's probably Video C. Or VHS-C.
Probably, yeah. Because I was thinking the tapes weren't this big, this wide. They were pretty small tapes, so... That's like the only thing I have to go off of. Cause like I haven't seen that in years. She still has it. I just haven't looked at it. I do remember though, my parents borrowed it when they first moved into this house in like 2004. And there's a tape in that camera box of this house when they first bought it, and there's just nothing here. It's really interesting to look at.
Oh. Almost surreal to see a space and time from where you are, but from before when you existed.
Yeah, that was 4 years before I existed. So yeah.
Technically, you existed in the form of the egg inside of your mom. When your mom was born, she basically had you.
I didn't need to think about that. Thank you.
There's nothing weird. It's not weird. That's a nice little fun fact. I literally didn't actually like really know that myself until a few weeks ago when I was joking with my wife, and she was like, we were talking about our kid, and I was like, yeah, you didn't even exist until like, you know, a few years ago, and then Kira was like, well, actually, her egg existed since practically practically as long as she's been alive. So I didn't know. Now I know. Now you know too if you didn't know.
Yeah, like I could have pieced that together myself. I just never thought of it that way, you know. What's really weird about this camera, when I took it apart, there's like a little metal plate in the bottom with like instructions of how to continue taking it apart. I should have taken a picture of it. I didn't think to do that.
Ah, back when things came with service manuals and they practically encouraged you to fix it yourself.
Yeah, because like you either took it to someone to fix it, which was a thing, or you fixed it yourself, which was a thing.
And you could buy replacement parts from the manufacturer too.
Yeah. Like, what the hell, Apple? I blame Apple for that. Like, they were the main people who started doing that, and then everyone just followed. Kind of like with everything else they do.
I don't know. I think it's half Apple's fault and half everyone else's fault for just kind of, you know, we could just let Apple die as a company, but we continue to give them our money and let them succeed and basically, you know, like you hear all the time, voting with our wallets, right? But
yeah,
it's real. And then you know, so many people buy Apple stuff that other companies see that and think that that's what makes them so successful, so that's what they copy.
Yeah. But like the part pairing and stuff, come on. Like, there's no real reason for that other than you just want to sell me a new thing.
I mean, I can understand multiple legitimate reasons, but like they don't want to be upfront and honest with all of them, and they want to say, well, okay, just because this reason doesn't apply to you doesn't mean you're not going to be subject to it. I.e., one of the reasons we don't let you we do parts pairing is to cut down on stolen phones, but what if the phone you have isn't stolen? So what?
Yeah, isn't that what they said with like iOS 18? If your parts are from a phone that's reported stolen, then they won't activate properly or whatever.
It's like, it has something to do with, and of course if you want to know, look it up and you know, the info's out there, but my understanding was they're going to make it so if it's reported stolen, the parts associated with that phone will no longer be usable. If it's reported lost, then it gives you the option to notify the original owner and ask them to unlock the parts for you.
Yeah. They should have just been doing that from the beginning, though. Like,
they should have. At the very least. Like that's not. It's a step in the right direction.
Like, you can't tell me someone at Apple didn't think of that before this.
Well, Apple is an absolute master at the craft of coming up with new ways and ideas and technologies and ways to do things that with multiple reasons that like you know, almost plausible deniability kind of stuff, you know what I mean? Like, they are so good at making what they do and putting in enough effort or enough I don't know. It's I'm trying to put the thought together, but
I've noticed is more recently, they've previously been like the company that's really late to everything. They've kind of stopped doing that, which is interesting. They've kind of been coming out with stuff like before other people do, and then they're like, oh, we should do what Apple does.
They used to be not first, the best, and now they're switching over to first. You're spot on.
Yeah, like the dual camera thing with like the Samsungs, whatever Samsung that was, and then like what was the other thing? There was like USB-C, obviously, which
they were forced to do that.
Never gonna switch to that on their own. And like those full screen displays and stuff, they took a lot of inspiration from other phone manufacturers. That's all I'm saying.
Well, it's like everybody kept complaining about them not being the first for anything and copying everyone. So they were like, okay, here you go. Here's what you get when we try to be the first.
Yeah, you get an extra button that basically adds no functionality. Thank you.
Here's our innovation. No headphone jack, an extra action button, and AI.
Which, like, I don't need more buttons. I'd like to have a headphone jack, and I don't want AI. So, thank you, Apple.
Yeah, if I want AI, I've got ways to use it, but it just to have it on tap and have it like by default sucking up resources that I don't like that it's so easily accessible to so many people and that it can just I don't know. I don't know. It shouldn't just be like the default go-to for people.
And like, I've been watching some older like tech review videos, and like AI, you basically never heard that word. It's just a freaking buzzword now. It's wild.
Yep, it's marketing. No, it's pure marketing. AI has been a thing since it's artificial intelligence.
It's not a new thing.
You had old video games that had artificial intelligence. I mean, it's yeah.
And like, I don't know. It was a Google Home review. That's what I was watching because I see them at thrift stores all the time. I'm like, huh. Anyway, it was Mark Hez, and he was like, the AI. I don't even remember what he said about it, but he said it once and not like 20 times, which is like, huh, this is what we've become. We're just like saying AI 60 times and it's a product. So yeah. Times kinda suck. There's a thing that's bothered me for a while about like the Touch ID button and the Face ID module, whatever you want to call it, and how it's like locked down and paired.
Yeah, because apparently they store the Face ID on the chip, so you've got to.
That's the. Damn it! You said it before I did. I was thinking like those parts don't store your biometric data.
Even if they did.
It's your.
Even if they did, right? Okay, cool. Even if they did, let me replace the module, wipe the data, and use the feature again. I don't care to preserve my biometric data, whatever. I'll rescan my freaking face. It takes 2 minutes. You think I give a crap about having to rescan my face after I've taken an hour to replace the whole hardware? Come on.
yeah, that's the weird thing to me is people defend it with like they're like, oh, it's protecting my data. They're making sure my data can't be.
I get that.
Stolen
I can
by
understand
replacing this
that.
part.
But then when I put it in a new phone, just wipe it. Just don't let me use the old data.
Well, their logic is if my phone gets stolen and they take this Touch ID or this Face ID module, they'll have access to my phone. Which, where is that connection? By replacing the part, you're not just unlocking the phone now. It's not how that works. You should, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's really odd.
They watched too many sci-fi or spy movies where they would like skin the villain's
CIS.
thumb, or they would cut the dude's thumb off and like use that to gain access to an unauthorized area. And they're like, oh, if someone steals my phone and cuts my Touch ID sensor and splices it into their phone, they've got they can take all my info. Nah.
I think you have bigger problems if someone cuts your thumb off and takes your phone than your social media logins and your banking details. Like, still, people, I don't know. And not to mention that little metal ring around the Touch ID button. That's so you can't do that. It's like making sure it's a live person. I don't remember the exact way it does it, but it's like capacitive or whatever. I'm not sure. I'm not qualified. But it's like making sure it's not a dead person's thumb. That's legitimately what that's for.
I vaguely recall reading about that, yes.
Yeah. So, like, I don't know. I think people should just, before you go, like, get into a comment thread and are like, Apple is my savior, they're keeping my data safe, like, at least know something about what you're talking about. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, that's the problem with anything, right?
Yeah, that's true. People are whack.
Well, people wanna provide their opinion on things that they aren't subject matter experts on. And depending on what it is you're talking about, that's might be casual discourse, or it might be throwing everything.
Yeah, but like that's the thing. If you're gonna defend something like a product or a system, you at least know how it works and how it functions.
Right.
Like, but then what's another weird thing is it's just an inconvenience. Like, if someone takes your phone, they're not gonna be able to get the Touch ID data anyway. I don't know. It's hurts my brain. Like, man, like how is replacing a part gonna make them gain access to your phone?
Right.
That's my confusion.
What blows my mind is if you take 2 seconds to think about it, it doesn't make sense. You're right, but that's what they said. That's what Apple said, and most people bought it. Most people still bought it.
But like, if any of these people take like you said, 2 seconds to think about it, that part is just sending data to the phone. It doesn't contain your data. So replacing it is still doing what? To harm your data. I don't know.
Nah, and who's got the money to prove them wrong, right?
I mean, you can explain it. Like, you can say, look at this Touch ID module. That right there is not a NAND or an EEPROM with your data on it. That is the processor, or whatever you want to call it, or the controller or whatever that makes this thing work. It doesn't contain any data. This part on your phone does. So, I don't know.
Well, my understanding was, yeah, like Stefan said, it's the secure enclave chip. It's a dedicated chip, but isn't the chip itself embedded in the Face ID module or the Touch ID module or the ribbon cable for it? It's not on the main board. It's in the part. So granted, if you have the part, technically you have that data, but it's encrypted on there. And my point is so what if it's a used part with someone else's data? It doesn't make it any different than having a used computer with someone's data on their SSD, or the used phone in general with all of their other stuff on there. So just if it's a used part, why not just automatically nuke the existing biometric data on there as soon as someone tries to go and use it again?
Why doesn't it do that to begin with, though? Like, as soon as you plug that Touch ID module into a new phone, why doesn't it just say, oh shit, this is not the right phone.
Right?
Get rid of it all, clear it out.
Alright, it looks like up next here we've got the Days Studio.
I'm having trouble connecting to the internet.
With a bricked HomePod. It's got the blinkies or something along those lines. Let's give it a chance to show us what it's got. And then we've got James after this. I'm gonna go grab a new USB adapter. I think I've exhausted that one. Here we go. This is the current color I've been shipping out to folks. It's this nice blue that changes to a clear white with heat. Ah, there we go. We've got the blinkies. Who's up next? James, 3670 something. Let's let James know they're coming up next. And before we do this, I'm going to step away for just a second. I'm going to mute myself and we will be right back. Alright, we're back. Let's get this. Let's get this going. So, we're going to expose our debug port. Cover up that top so we don't scratch it up, shuffling it around the table. We'll connect our handy dandy 3D printable USB adapter. If you don't want to make it yourself, you can buy one from me. And let's see what it's got for us.
What is that graph over on your monitor? Are you watching stocks, or is that like YouTube related?
Graph? Oh, that's the YouTube the stream health. That's just it just shows it shows how many people are watching, the bit rate, what have you.
Yeah, I don't stream, so I wouldn't know.
I ain't into stocks. I wish I was, but I'm just it's over my head.
Come on, it's legal gambling.
I know, right? I've tried, but I lose money every time I touch it. Now let's see what this has got for us.
I will be back in a little bit.
Stefan, it's just you, me, and well, I guess everyone else on YouTube. Looks like Mikey's still here with us too. Alright, well, we've gotten our result. Device failed to enter restore mode. That is usually a hardware issue. This one's going to most likely need another main logic board. I'm a little short on logic boards at the moment, so we'll have to let them know and have them hang tight until we can get our hands on more in the next day or so. Alright, let's put that one off to the side. We'll come back to it when I can get my hands on another logic board to fix that one up. Stefan, be nice to your HomePod, or I'll come over there and take it from you. Alright, so let's move on for now to James with some bad bass here. And last but certainly not least is going to be Neville. Neville's got a 2nd gen with no power. That'll be interesting. Let's move on for now to James with no power. And we will shoot a message to Neville and let him know they're coming up here.
I'm having trouble.
Ooh, that's quite poppy. Alright, so that definitely needs some new DC filters. Hopefully we got to it before it needs a new bass speaker as well. Here we go. What are you doing, Stefan? Why is your HomePod in pieces? You're missing a screw. All of the screws are T6 except for the 3 holding the mesh on the bottom. Those are T5. 36K dated diode, no stinky subwoofer. Goodness, that's all it'll need is some new filters. Kurt, what is up? Welcome back. That's a display. Got a little dent in there? That dent is perfectly normal. I see them all the time. It's from the factory.
Wait, when did Stefan get a HomePod? Did I miss something?
He's had a HomePod for quite some time. I think he. What? You bought an adapter from us? Is that right? You bought an adapter from me?
Probably, because you were saying something about his having, like, weird software issues.
Yeah, like, he keeps having to restore his every once in a while, if I'm not mistaken. You soldered the pins. Ah, that's right.
Nick.
Hello?
I have a project for you.
Uh-oh.
Hang on, do not... that is my front camera. So, when I bought my iPod Hi-Fi, it didn't come with the front grille. So I've been trying to make one, and I can't figure it out because I've been trying to like 3D model one to 3D print. I can't get these pin posts right, these little holes that the pins go into, mainly because all I have to go off of is pictures and measurements. My measurements, I started taking measurements. So I was wondering, since you have one and you have like the tools and stuff, could you make one and like put it on like whatever the hell Thingiverse or whatever? Because I only have access to the software at school, and I don't want to take this to school without a front grill on it because it'll get poked in probably.
What I would probably do is split it up into 2 halves, because you're not going to have a printer that's going to be big enough to print that in one piece. So I would split it in half. That way you print 2 pieces, you glue them together, and then it's just a frame that you glue a piece of fabric over on top of, essentially.
That's the thought I was having, but my problem is I can't get good measurements on it.
You have a tape measure?
I have to take it. Huh?
Do you have a tape measure?
I do, but I'm terrible at using tape measures.
So
Don't tell anybody.
the general rule of thumb with most things is usually they are going to measure whole or in round numbers, or in other words, the distance between those 2 holes is probably going to be like 12 inches or 11 inches or some easy to work with number. So what you do is take your tape measure and just try to measure as best as you can the distance between those 2 holes, and then see you can if it's like 99% close to 10 inches but it's like just barely off, then chances are it's actually 10 inches and you're just you're bad at measuring. Wife just pulled into the driveway. I gotta help her bring stuff in. I'll be right back.
Okay.
All right. How much should you be willing to pay for a hi-fi? It depends on the condition. I wouldn't pay more than 40 to 60 bucks for one that's really beat up. If you're patient, you can sometimes snag one at auction for under 40 to 60 bucks. Good condition ones expect to pay upwards of $100, give or take, with shipping and fees. Minty ones. With all the accessories and the box, expect to pay between like $150 to $300.
I think I paid like $150 for mine, and it's in pretty good condition, so.
Yeah, minus the grill for yours too. Yours didn't have the grill.
That's true, though, yeah.
It's a little much, but if it's in good shape, I don't know. I paid $100 for mine at Goodwill like five or 6 years ago, and then well, no, it was more than that. It's probably 7 or 8 years ago now. And then that was the first time I ever knew they existed. I saw it at Goodwill, and that's how I learned about them. And I was like, I have to have it, and I went back and bought it. And then I looked around online and found out that people tend to sell them on auction all the time for a little less than $100 if you're patient, if you know where to look. But I guess that was quite a few years ago now. I'm not too surprised that the same one would probably average about $150 now. Woohoo! Second gen. We're in trouble now.
This is probably the first second gen I've seen.
Not the first second gen that we've worked on, though.
Yeah, the first one I've seen on the stream, though.
That's much better. Can I use one of your
I'm
other
having trouble connecting to the internet.
Apple IR remotes? You can. It has to be one of these, but you don't pair them. You literally you point it at it and it works. It literally just works.
I use one of the so-called second gen, just aluminum non-Siri remote with mine.
It works with it? No way.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
I will demonstrate.
There you go. Look at that.
It does work, everybody. Hello, stream.
Oh, I just doxed Stefan.
And me, probably.
Nah, your phone number wasn't showing, just Stefan's. It's okay. I'll edit the stream after, and he'll get maybe minor harassment, but that's not much more. Well deserved.
You know, I put one of the D-brand glow skins on my remote because I just had one my friend gave me. Weird thing, he absolutely hates the glow skin. He hates the texture of it. The freaking with the traces and all that. Oh, this has got to be my favorite skin they've ever made. He hates it.
Oh.
He used it for like 4 months and took it off. And gave it to me.
No way.
Yeah, it's on my TV remote now.
Alright.
The day he got it, he was like, dude, I hate this thing. This is the worst feeling thing. Yeah, he's been using his 13 Pro Max completely caseless since he's gotten it, and I don't know how he hasn't dropped it. Considering I'm currently using his old phone that he destroyed, so...
Alright, Nebel. What have you got for us? You've got no lights, no power. The second gens and the minis tend to take a minute to actually do something, so I'm just hanging tight here, but we're still pulling practically no power from the wall. Is that what I'm seeing here?
Is that common?
Oh, it did flinch. It did briefly jump up to 2 watts there. So that tells me it's not a blown fuse. We've probably got some sort of short going on there, though. On the inside, let's get inside.
Has Stefan said anything this whole time?
No.
I know he turned his camera on.
He turned his camera on. He hasn't. I've never heard him talk, I believe.
Stefan, speak if you are with us. Okay. My disappointment is immeasurable.
Yeah, my day's ruined.
Good job, Stefan.
I was looking forward to it. Finally, the Stefan voice reveal.
My parents are sleeping.
Yeah.
It's raining. You can't go outside.
That's what he says every time. My parents are sleeping.
He's got a good excuse for everything. You heard me. What do you mean?
I think he might have like briefly talked in like when I was working on my car in the Discord server once. I don't think it was much.
I don't know what is happening next door, but there's just like a motor. It sounds like a really crappy lawnmower, and it just keeps dying over and over again.
Someone's trying to get their mower. They're pulling their mower out of storage and they're clearing out the carburetor because they haven't touched it in a year and it's
Their
cracked
grass
out.
is 6 feet tall. Yeah.
All right. This is where these extra long T6 bits will come into play because the screws for the basket on the second gen are kind of deep in there. If we can expose them. They made this a lot more difficult. Easier in some ways. Also, I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't expecting a second gen. My repair form asks if you're sending in a first gen or a second gen. And every time anybody has ever said that they were sending in a second gen, whenever I've gotten it, it was actually a first gen. LMAO.
I mean, the only way to tell is by turning it on. And if
You can just look
it's
at
the
it.
easiest way.
No, just look at it. The volume buttons are printed. They're printed in color on the second gen. You can see them whether it's on or not. On the first gen,
They are?
on the first gen,
I
yes.
did not know that.
Yes. You can see that right there. You got your plus button right here. You got the minus button right here. You see them? Yeah. Good times.
I don't. I'm not in the stream. I'm in here.
Ah,
I'm
yeah.
only watching the chat.
Fair.
I ordered an Apple TV 4K, and I still do not know when it gets here because the shipping is not on my phone or my eBay account.
When did you order it? Oh, you got it off eBay?
Huh?
You got it off eBay?
Yeah. It was like $50, and it was Saturday, I think? Maybe Sunday? I don't know. Yeah, it was Saturday. Yeah, because my quote current Apple TV is just my hi-fi TV now.
Okay. We've got the display / main logic board disconnected. What we're gonna do is grab my second gen parts bin. I should have a logic board here that's working. I believe that's this one. Who knows? Doesn't really matter. All of these boards turn on at least, so. No sound. That will be the one that we use. So this logic board turns on, but it does not produce any sound. The purpose of this is to see if this is a logic board issue or an amplifier or power supply issue. Given how much power it was pulling from the wall, I can't really tell exactly. So this will cut our troubleshooting work in half here, essentially. Let's see if it turns on or not. Yeah, there you go. It's turning right on with another logic board. So that tells us our issue is, well, it's going to be on this logic board here. Let's make some room. Here it is. Do we have any obvious... I feel like we're not going to find anything obvious here. We're going to have to pry up this and take a look underneath. You've never seen the guts of a second gen before, other than iFixit? I take offense to that. I take offense to that because we were the first ones in the entire world to get our hands on a second gen and tear it down live on stream for all of you folks on YouTube. I spent my own money to get a second gen to tear it down for all of you folks. And the first time you've seen ones from the iFixit guide, I even had a second stream where we took it even further and looked at the actual chip names and numbers on them. How could you? Okay, so what I want to do, bring this back over here. I've got my thermal camera all charged up. We're gonna see if we can't notice any hot spots. Pointing us to where there might be a short. Ah, that's thermal paste. Oh no. Well, that's part of my skin forever now.
Yeah, why do thermal paste be like that? It just like sticks to you and does not go away.
It's because it's basically very fine dust suspended in a semi-liquid. So it's like the tiny little pigments. They're so small that they embed themselves in between your fingerprints, and it makes it harder to clean off your fingers. Rubbing alcohol does a really good job, though.
Stefan, I have many questions, like why do you just have optical drives sitting on your floor?
Stefan, I'm surprised how clean your floor is.
Oh god, don't touch the power supplies like that. No, you'll die.
Nah, they've discharged themselves from shorting against everything else floating around loose in the bin.
Like, why do you just have a PC just torn apart on your floor? Like, what are you doing? Is that a control? Is that it? Oh god. All of the Apple boxes. Oh no. The 360, is that 360 upside down?
Oh, I see that. I see the short. I see it. I see it. I see it. Something's getting hot, and I can see what it is. Where's my plastic tool?
Oh, I thought those were full iPads. They're just shells.
Oh no.
All the broken iPhones. Oh, there's one working one. Or is it working? It's got cables hanging out of it. Stefan, God.
Okay, folks, I've found something getting warm, but I don't like it. It's an IC. It's not a passive component. It's a whole chip. So that tells me we're probably going to need to do voltage injection and find our shorted component that way. But for here and now, we are actually all out of time. That's all that we are going to do for here and today. Yes. Yeah, I'm getting hungry. The wife is home. I want to spend time with the family. So I hope you all enjoyed this live stream repair, and I hope to catch you in another one soon.